No. Just
I did the same.
Ribs, you see,
Yeah, I did the same thing playing football many years ago. They just nothing we can do. Mine were cracked. They weren't actually broken.
The annoying thing about this doctor who saw my wife on Tuesday, he said, and a different one than the one she'd seen before. But he said, I'll tell you what, love. He said it'll be like that for another 3 or 4 months yet.
Oh, nice.
Said, it's really comforting. So it's and he said, I said, what will happen is, he said, you'll wake up in the morning and it won't feel too bad. He said, because you've been resting it all night. He said, but then once you get on it all day, you'll be glad to get to bed at night time. So it's very comforting. But that's what these doctors are all about, aren't they?
I know. Have you been watching that series about junior doctors?
No, I don't watch them.
No, it's a little bit concerning. I think the doctors concerned are I don't know, they're a bit full of themselves, I think.
Well, there you go. It's
a bit worrying because you're doing...
Yeah, I was amused when I go to the doctors and the doctors say, "How are you?" for a start, it's fine. Fine, just have my arms hanging off, or my ball once burst in or something.
Well, I suppose it depends what you're going for, doesn't it?
Well, it's true, but I get sort of somewhat frustrated because the doctors that I have been to over the past few years, they've sort of said, they'd ask me what my symptoms are, and then they say, well, what do you think it is?
Yeah.
And I sort of look at them as just to say, well, hang on, you're the doctor. Because if I turn it round the other way and I say to the doctor, well, actually, I think what it is, it's, I've got a water infection or something like that, they go, well, how do you know that? Are you qualified? I didn't realise you were a doctor,
Yeah.
And I think, well, you can't win either way.
That's right.
It's just...
We used to have a really wacky... many years ago, we went to a surgery. I won't say where it is, but it was near where I live in Milton Keynes, but not the Willen one, which was also had its own problems. But they all joined this mysterious church called the Church of the Vine. And you go along there and they say, we're not going to give you any medicine, go home and pray. Yeah. But I don't believe in it, you know what I mean? What was that all about?
Right, coming up later on today, we have at 12 o'clock Thea's Chatty Charity Show.
Got it right,
right,
Yeah.
And then at 8 o'clock tonight, we have Transmitters Down with Terry D. And again, just be warned, listener, that if you see Transmitters Down till 10, all right, especially tomorrow morning, if you see it on Facebook, it's the name of Terry D's show, all right? It's called Transmitter Down, and it's on from 8 till 10 tonight, all right? And then at 10 o'clock tonight and 2 through until midnight, it's our very own head gardener, Shane Quentin, with his Garden of Earthly Delights. Tomorrow morning, bright and early, 8 o'clock through until 10 o'clock, is the Grumpy Old Man, which is me. You?
Oh, yeah, me as well.
Alan? Yeah.
Yeah, no, Kev this week. He's recording his CD again.
Recording his...
but he'll be back next week, I guess.
Well, indeed, yeah. 10 o'clock through until 12 is the Decades with Charlotte and Dave. Then 3 till 5 is All Sorts Weekly Showcase with DJ Digital. A fantastic roots, soul, rhythm and blues show is on from 7 until 9 with Erica Gordon. Sunday morning, bright and early, 10 o'clock through until 12, it's yours truly with Hit or Miss, where I play a lot of the oldies that you may or may not remember, and we tell you just a little bit about them. Then 12 o'clock through until 2, you can join Sunday Roast with Martin and his wife Melis. 2 o'clock until 4 o'clock is Ground Control with Paul Alexander. That's 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock is Rock On with Dale Nathan. Then 6 o'clock until 8 o'clock is The Gospel Show with Howard McCullough. 8 o'clock till 10 o'clock, Scene Sounds with Simon Moss, and rounding our programmes up here on the weekend on CRMK at 10 o'clock through until 11 is The Invisible Folk Club with Steve Yarwood and John Bickley.
Have you heard Simon Moss's programme?
Yes, I have.
He's extremely knowledgeable, isn't he, about music from films, etc. It's a bit like old Tony Carty at that other station we used to go to. Yeah. But yeah, I thought he's very good. He's actually a screenwriter. I didn't realise that.
Is he?
Yeah, he's writing a screenplay at the moment.
Oh, I thought he was a technician.
Well, that's his other job.
Oh, that's another job. Oh,
just you know why you and I will by and by no true love ways. Sometimes we'll sigh, sometimes Sometimes we'll cry, and you'll know why. Just you and I know true love will. Throughout the day, our true love way will bring us joy to share with those who really care. Sometimes we'll sigh, sometimes we'll cry, and you'll know why. Just you and I know true love will. Throughout the day, our true love way will bring us joy to share with those who really care. Sometimes we'll sigh, sometimes we'll
Well, that's a lovely piece of Elizabethan music, I suppose, one would say, which you don't often hear on Sarah MK, especially on a Friday morning with MK Today. But very pleased to welcome into the studio Sue Snell from the Mr. Simpson concert. Sue, tell me what this is all about.
I play with an early music group. We've been going for a long time. We've had a really spectacularly busy year this year. We won an award in Buxton, and we've just been awarded a residency at Westbury Arts Centre, and our first performance is this coming Sunday afternoon at 3:30.
So what are you actually going to do then on this performance? What's actually going to happen? Because it's Elizabethan Winter's Tale, yeah?
It is. As well as music, we're all really fascinated by the history, because actually as early musicians, you have to study the social history of the time and the way that people played instruments, what they were made of, what they wore, all those kind of things bear some kind of relevance to the way we play early music today. So we kind of got sidetracked and started writing scripts to accompany the music, and this is a rather fun look at the Elizabethan Christmastide, which ran for 40 days and a little bit extra usually.
So they had quite a time then at Christmas, obviously, didn't they?
They certainly did. They weren't very religious. They didn't really celebrate. They did celebrate religiously a little bit, but it was more about the partying and showing off to your friends and spending an awful lot of money on food and particularly New Year's gifts.
Yes, because they did eat in those days, didn't they? It's an awful amount, didn't they?
And you will find out an awful lot about food in our performance, because it is absolutely fascinating. I think one of the things we were all fascinated by were the turkeys, which we'd all assumed were an American invention, but actually they first appeared on the Tudor table in the times of Henry VIII. By the Elizabethan period, they were really sought after, and you would see flocks of turkeys walking from Norwich, from Norfolk, from Suffolk, from Cambridgeshire into London. And of course, because it was such a long way, the turkeys had to start walking in August to arrive on the table in time for Christmas.
It's fascinating, that, isn't it? Because, as you say, they start walking, and you'd have thought that they would be skinny little things by the time they get down there, but they do fatten them up, don't they?
I'm sure they do, and I'm sure they take their pickings on the way.
Yeah, that's right. So will there actually be eating at your event as well?
There will be, yes, yeah. It's a sort of collaboration of words and music, eating and drinking. So we invite people to bring a cup to share the wassail, which will be mulled cider or apple juice if you really don't fancy the alcohol on a Sunday afternoon. We've also got some bean cakes, and I don't want to go into that too much because it will kind of spoil the surprise on Sunday, and various Elizabethan sweetmeats, sort of candied peels and things. They were quite stinky people, actually. They sugar was very expensive, so you had to be extremely wealthy to afford to eat it, and of course the one thing it did was turn your teeth black.
That's right,
and give you extremely stinky breath.
Yes.
So Elizabeth rather liked to suck on candied peel, which she thought disguised the smell of her breath. But her friends, to show their wealth, of course, would black their teeth without having to eat the sugar because it was too expensive to buy at the time.
A bit of a sort of get around it. Look at me, I've got black teeth, but I haven't got any money. So are you asking people to come along in costume as well, or not?
We don't do costume.
You
no.
don't do costumes? Oh,
absolutely not. Our reader will often wear costume, but it's just asking too much of musicians, because actually a lot of the music is very virtuosic, and if we were